Yo, it's been too long. It's been way too long since a new Overlord episode graced us with its presence. To put in perspective, the last time we had an Overlord episode was in 2018. 4 years ago. Yeah, 4 years ago. And let's be honest, a lot has happened in the last 4 years of the world. So the fact that it's been that long, it feels like it's been over a decade. It really has felt that long. And when I was watching this first episode of Overlord Season 4, I was smiling. I was smiling. I was just smiling from the first second to the last second of the episode. I was just like, oh my god, it's been too long. It's just been too long. And, I know that the Overlord anime isn't perfect, okay? I've talked about this. I have hammered this in a lot in different discussions over the years, even after 2018. But despite all of the flaws that the anime has had, it's a really good anime. It's a really good show. And Overlord, even with some of, the flaws of the anime, its source material shines through, and it is just straight up quality. This episode 1 of Season 4 is so good. The emotion, the voice acting, oh my god, Pandora's actor was great. And just did so many other things. It's such a good episode, and it's very fitting, because there's a lot that you can get from the episode and analyze, because we got character development, we got characterization, we got world building, and then reminding us of just, how far the series has come from the first episode of Season 1 to where we're at now. There's just been a lot. There has been a lot for Overlord, and I love everything that happened in this episode. So let's just dive right into it. Papa Bone Daddy, the return. He's back. He's back, and I'm so pleased, because for one, if there was one scene that really nailed it in and made me very happy that Overlord was back, it had to be the glorious scene of Pandora's actors Ainz Summer, oh Supreme One. Dude, it was so good. It was so good. I love Mamoru's voice actor. Mamoru as in the voice actor. I love him. Ever since I heard his voice years ago through Pandora's actor, Shu Sukiyama and all that from Tokyo Ghoul, to also hearing him, play Okabe or, Hoin Kyoma from Steins Gate. Ever since I heard him as a voice actor, I've been a huge fan. He really brings a lot of life and flair to a character, and he fits so well with Pandora's actor. And when you just see him talking within this episode, he steals the show. Legitimately, he steals the show. It is such a funny scene when you see, Pandora's actor, he sits down next to Ainz, and you just hear this eccentric acting and voice from Mamoru, and I'm just I love it. I can never get enough of it. And honestly, my mind slipped about that. My mind slipped about the voice actor until I heard it again. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is one of the big reasons why I love the anime. Just the voice acting was incredible. Ainz's voice actor as well, Talabetto, Shaltier, etc. Just so much good voice acting, and honestly, it's just such a highlight. And also the music as well. Holy crap, the music at the end of the episode, I think that's the opening song music. That's a good opening song. I cannot wait to actually see the visuals for the opening song, probably, next week. Now, let's talk about a few things, okay? Let's talk about the nitty-gritty, what episode 1 of Season 4 did, and kind of give some clarity to the story structure. So for one, obviously as a reminder, Season 3 ended on a war. For instance, Ainz finally revealed himself that he was an undead. He was someone that was going to take control of the kingdom and basically position himself in as a ruler, as a king, pretty much. And he won, obviously. Nobody can really stand up to Ainz. We have seen his battle power, what he has under his belt. He's a pay-to-win player as well. So he's incredibly powerful. You can't really face Ainz. You have to be pretty much on the same tier as Ainz to even be able to face him. So the ending of Season 3 was very big. It was a climactic ending because it showcased that Ainz finally is a ruler. He's now out in the public. He is now for the whole world to see and look at. He is no longer being a shadow hiding behind the scenes. He is for everybody to see an undead Overlord. So this is our first real look, an episode showing Ainz trying to rule the people. And it starts off obviously with showing Ainz trying to be a better ruler and trying to understand, the people and what he can give them, and, also showing how much he has developed as well since the start of Season 1 of Overlord. And let's get into that first. So one of the big character traits that Ainz has had as a character since basically the very beginning is that he felt like if the other NPCs, like Albedo, Shaltir, etc., found out that, he wasn't an all-knowing god, they would probably turn against him, hate him, and potentially kill him. He was worried about this. This was something about his character, something that was embedded in him pretty much since the beginning, and he was worried about continuously. However, Episode 1 of Season 4 takes it in a very different direction. You can see that Ainz has pretty much accepted the fact that he probably will always, to the NPCs, look like he is a god. He'll look like he is just so up there that no matter what he does, they'll never see any fault in him. And so because of that, you can see how he tries to bring his status down to a normal level. He tries to figure out how he can be on an equal footing with the other NPCs instead of them putting him up on a pedestal continuously. So it's a huge shift in his character, showing development that he no longer thinks that he is going to get killed by his NPCs if he's incompetent. He doesn't want to look incompetent, but he doesn't have to worry about that. What he does now want to do is just allow the NPCs to feel like, they're on the same status as him. So it's nice. That's really nice development that, Season 4 opens up with. Now, the other things to talk about is, him being a ruler. Ainz admits, even with his inner monologue, that he doesn't know what to do, how to, do policies, laws, etc. He has no idea what he should be doing, but at the same time, he has to put on a face and act like a ruler, and he obviously needs to gain experience. He needs to figure these things out, and Demi isn't around because he's doing his own thing. Albedo is there, yes, but at the same time, he doesn't want to look weak or incompetent in front of her, so he tries to figure out what he can do best, while at the same time, you can see throughout the episode, it implies that Albedo is also concerned about where they should take the policies, the laws, etc., and what they should do next, showcasing that even Albedo doesn't know what they really should do. And so Ainz really has to direct where he wants to take his nation. And so towards the end of the episode, it all comes full circle, and he wants to direct his nation with adventurers. For instance, allowing adventurers to be adventurers. Because, let's be honest here, when you think of adventurers, especially in a game, yes, they are monster slayers, yes, they protect the town, they save villages, but they adventure. They go on a giant adventure, going across the world, finding unexplored dungeons and places. That's what you assume an adventurer is. And Ainz wants to bring that to life. He wants to allow the Adventurers Guild to do it, and he wants to incorporate their guild a part of his status to allow them to discover unforeseen lands and do what they should do. So it's a very enticing offer. He's trying to build public relations and actually turn it into probably what he knows this world should be like a fantasy game, etc. So it's a really nice, just full circle thing, showing that even if Ainz doesn't know how to be a ruler properly, he is doing the best that he can, especially what he did at the end of the episode. So good. Now, besides that, we also get to see little nitty-gritty details of just how the populace will feel about Ainz. Obviously, people are scared of him. He's an undead. Well, we know this. It's very common why people are understandable why people are afraid of Ainz. So he has to build up a lot of goodwill with a bunch of people. So the best way to do that is through adventurers and just showcasing that he knows how to do policy. And so one of his big answers is also to treat the people of his kingdom as people that deserve protection. And he wants the NPCs like Albedo, Shaltir, Demi, etc. to look at the people part of the Sorcerer's Kingdom as individuals that are actually higher status than just humans. He wants them to be viewed as people that are a part of Nazarick itself. So it's a very interesting concept, and I love the overall vibe of the first episode. There is a lot of story to really gain from the episode, and that's one of the big pluses. One of the big things that has always been a huge part of Overlord's anime and light novel is the fact that the story and the writing is just so good. It's very deep. Like, for instance, you can consume Overlord's story, and it could be a shallow puddle to you. For instance, you could just look at it, look at the surface of the writing, and be like, that's cool. Okay, cool story. But if you really want to dive into Overlord, it's such a deep well. Like, it's a deep ocean, honestly, of content to really dive into the nitty-gritty and the inner workings of the characters and what's going on around the world, etc. It's a really good series for that. There is so much content, it's so much world building and characterization and development. It's one of the biggest draws of Overlord as a series. And I love how that very vibe, that tone is still very consistent, even with Season 4. Now, let's talk about something that I think everybody's asking. How was episode 1 in terms of adaptation, in terms of content? Was it, consistent? Did it adapt everything that needed to be adapted from the light novel? And how was the art and animation? Well, okay. When it comes to light novel to anime adaptations, there's always cut content. And I know in a perfect world, we would love to see everything, every line of dialogue, every inner monologue, every scene added into an anime. In a perfect world, that would happen, and it would be a great anime. And there is examples of anime being able to do this, but it's a very rare case, sadly. And so, yes, there was cut content for this episode of Overlord, but nothing that was so radical that I think takes away from what the show is, what the anime is, and I think you get the very gist and concept of what episode 1 of season 4 was trying to do. So I don't think it was bad. Even the content that was cut, yes, if you were to read the light novel, you'll get a lot more clarification, a lot more depth to it, etc. But I do think that overall, in terms of what the story is about, you got everything you needed to know. So I'm not really upset in terms of adaptation as a light novel reader. Now, in terms of art and animation, it is good. Like, okay, it's not the best anime, like look, art style, etc. I've ever seen. Obviously, there's a lot of good anime examples I could bring up, but the point is that Overlord has never been fully known for its beautiful art and animation. Yes, it has good scenes with art and animation, but it's never been fully known for that. I mean, the atrocious CGI at the end of Season 3 is definitely a good example of just how low it really can go. At this point in time with episode 1, I don't see any CGI, and if there was, I missed it. It looks decent. It looks good. It looks very on model. Everything actually looks good. It looks better than how Season 3 was, and I'm not necessarily like, oh, this is bad. It looks good. So, if you're worried about that, I wouldn't worry right now. It's nothing that I would be too concerned about. So yeah, overall, it's a good episode. I'm just so happy to have it back, and I can't wait to talk about this week by week now, because Overlord is back after 4 years. Papa Bone Daddy has returned. But okay, guys, if you enjoyed this video, and I gave you any form of entertainment, you liked it, etc., please leave me a like. It helps me out a lot. It really does. It lets, this video pop up in the YouTube algorithm. It allows you guys to get notified more if I upload videos, etc. So please do leave me a like. It's the one thing I do ask, and also leave a comment if you want to talk about certain conversation or some topic about the episode. But with that, guys, be safe, stay healthy. Chibi out.